Alright guys and folks, welcome back to the last session of GST. It's not been too long honestly, it's just the fourth day and we have revised every chapter there is to revise in GST. So it's a very good session coming to an end on GST. In this session, of course, as the name suggests, we'll be doing some exemptions, but we've already started exemptions. We've in fact almost at the fag end of exemptions, and we'll clear some doubts. So if you have any doubts, bring them across and we can discuss, especially for people who probably had a good tax exam and could not clear it. Let me know guys, what is your thought? Did you ask for revaluation? Did you get your certified copies? How was that? So we'll talk about that as well if you want me to. Alright guys, in this session what's the agenda? I want to do some exemptions. I want to finish exemptions. There are very few exemptions remaining, but more than that also guys, I want to focus on writing some sums. So let's write, and also I want to focus on some MCQs. So let's see how MCQs are asked. So we'll be doing all of this in this session. All right, so exemptions we'll come back to guys. Exemptions break, unfortunately Venkat, we don't have a break, but guys, if we want a break, what we could do is we can take like 10-15 minutes break here. I'll just keep the video on. I'll be around in case you guys want to take a break, and then we can continue. We have enough time, so we could do that. I understand you guys have also been here continuously since 2.5 hours, and so am I, but for me it's my work. For you guys, 10-15 minutes if you all want, we could take a break. So does that work, Venkat? And the others also? Perfect. So what we'll do is, right now guys, it's 6:10. Let's meet again at 6:20. I'm here, and we could also treat that as a doubt solving. So if you have any questions, we could discuss that as well in the meanwhile. So everyone, 10 minutes here, and we'll be back in 10. Thank you. I'm still here in case you have a question. I'm sorry, unfortunately guys, we had a smaller shorter session, shorter break, sorry, but genuinely although the session is for exemptions, very few, 3-4 exemptions are left. I'm okay not doing them also. You can always refer to the QuickBook and finish them, but I'm very keen to do this part because honestly this is where the real tension lies in the minds of a student. How to present, how to plan my tax paper, how do I do MCQs, etc. So let's tackle that, because that is basically the elephant in the room. That is something that we don't usually do, because we focus on the concepts, we'll focus on reading sums like we've done, but we don't land up practicing. So I'll tell you what needs to be done and how do you look at. So I'm opening up this time is May paper guys, and I also tell you this 5 chapters which are really important. So I'm just opening up this times May paper. Just 1 second. Exam papers are here. Yep. So guys, typically you would start looking at a paper like this. Now unfortunately this kind of font makes us get scared because this is like an exam font. So how do you get rid of that? My suggestion would be that the only way to get rid of this is know this pattern already. You don't need to waste time in the exam to read all of this. You should know, because every year it's almost the same. So you should know what is part 1, you should know what is part 2, you should know which question is compulsory, etc. So your step is that you should be familiar with the paper. Of course MCQs guys, you don't carry it outside of the classroom, so you can't take it back and you cannot analyze it, but we have an MCQ booklet given by ICI which gives us an idea about what kind of MCQs to guys. If we know the concepts well, then MCQs are just an extension. Honestly, they're not difficult. Only thing, the fear of MCQs has to go away. So let's strategize guys. I'm just putting some strategy in place. This is the exam tax strategy. Let's put a little strategy in place. First, get familiar with the paper. So you should be absolutely familiar with the paper pattern that is which question is compulsory, which is not, etc. And guys, when you look at exam questions, you'll get so familiar that you will know exactly which chapter is asked where. Example, in DT, question number 2, either A or B is always a TDS sum. Also in IDT or GST, question number 5 is always a sum on ITC plus something else. So ITC is the main. So what I'm trying to tell you is, the more familiar you get with the paper pattern, the better you are able to predict which sum is definitely going to be there in the exam. Alright, next. Guys, this sum, which is of 14 marks at the start, you have to completely ignore. This is the sum which will drain you of all your energy. Because I'll tell you what happens is, this 14 marks, you never get the whole marks anyways. And if you see the sum, this 14 mark question starts here, goes on to the second page, goes on to the third page. It's a huge sum, and hence sometimes this question, if it's difficult, it just drives your mojo down. It's like in the morning, guys, if you have a fight with someone in the morning, do you think your entire day will go bad? Yes, it happens. You carry that baggage around. That's our nature. And same thing happens here also. If the first question is difficult, it just puts the entire paper on a low pedestal. So you basically don't have to look at that question only. You can start with the second question or third or the fourth one, depending on whichever you want to answer. So you can go through the questions. The fourth one generally has some has some theoretical part also. See, here is a theoretical part. So between second and third, we haven't done DT, but between second and third, you should decide at least one you should do. The second one is more practical. It has TDS questions, etc. So you should start doing from second. But even before you look at DT, guys, even before you start looking at this paper, you should start with question number 5. This is what you should start off with. This is question number 5 for 8 marks. This is what you should start your paper with. So again, coming back to exam strategy, I'm just going to go back and again just going to write their exam strategy. The exam strategy is that you will start off with GST, and in GST you will start off with the first question, GST start always. And in GST you will always start with question number 1, which is for 8 marks, which is very, very predictable. Guys, since we are now at this juncture where we are looking at this question, why not do one thing? Why not actually write this question in fair, so that we get some exam practice also and we get to strategize also. First I'll give you the strategy and then we'll start writing. So you will start writing this first question. Another strategy is, guys, whenever you have a question like this, you basically have to read the last line as to what have they asked you to. Calculate the amount of net minimum GST payable in cash by Xeon for the month of September. So again, I'm going back to our exam strategy. Exam strategies for every question, you have to read the question first. Question first. That means what have they asked you to? What are you asked? That you should know. Guys, every time you want to go somewhere and you know it's traffic, do you see the Google map to know where to go, how to go? Same way, guys, if you ask the question first, you will know exactly how to proceed there. So these are all small points, but they make a lot of difference in your exam, especially the answering the exam and saving a lot of time. So now I know exactly what to do in this question. So we will solve this question and we move ahead. When we move ahead, we see 6th question, 7th and 8th question. Again, we have a choice. So this is the 6th question. Try and see the exempt supply. If you get an exemption question, try and do this one. So this is 6th, this is 7th, and this is 8th. Can you juggle between the questions? Yes, guys, as long as the question numbers are right. That means if I start with question 8, then I have to do 8 first. 8A, B, C, whatever it is. Then I can go to 7th also or 6th also, doesn't matter, but I can't juggle from sub questions. I can't do 8A and then do 7B. That is very confusing. So if you start with 8, finish 8. Good evening, Manoj. So now, guys, what we will do is we will write this question answer So this is the first question for 8 marks. Everyone, let's write. I want you to have a paper, a pen, and just write here exam practice. Exam writing practice as a heading. You will write question number 5, GST May 22 paper, and you will write 8 marks. I will show you the exact question, how it's supposed to be written with all details. Here we go. Let's start. Guys, first have one basic reading so that you can make up your mind, you can make your calculations, etc. And then you will start writing in fair, because in fair then you can't cancel. Xeon Limited, a GST registered supplier located in Ranchi, Jharkhand, is engaged in the manufacturing of washing machines and mixer grinders. It provides you the details of various activities undertaken during the month of September. So I know the month is September. I know they are in Ranchi, Jharkhand. Alright, and they are registered supplier. Guys, is the government happy with registered suppliers? Yes, the government is very happy with registered suppliers. Outward supplies made during the month. Guys, outward supplies lead to what, guys? Supply leads to what? Supply leads to liability. So will these two supplies, will it give me my liability from in the electronic liability register? Yes. Within Jharkhand will be C and S GST. Outside Jharkhand will be IGST. The rate is always given at the end. So here the rates are not given here. Rates are given here. Washing machine and mixer grinders 9, 9 and 18%. So this is what the rate is, 9, 9, because I know this is washing machine and mixer grinders. So it is 9, 9 and 18%. So guys, this one seems okay. This will get me my electronic liability register balance for the month of September. Next, guys, purchase leads to what? Please tell me. Purchase leads to credit. Purchase of raw materials from registered dealers within Jharkhand, which include materials worth 2 lakh purchased from Mr. Krishna, a registered person who is paying tax under composition scheme. So you have purchased worth 7 lakhs. Out of this, 2 lakh is from a composition scheme dealer. Guys, from a composition scheme dealer means, will he be charging any GST? No. So I will write 5 lakhs, and this will go as a note, guys, that Mr. Krishna will not be charging any GST under the composition scheme. So this is 5 lakh. This is raw materials. On the rate on raw materials is what, guys? Raw materials 6, 6 and 12%, and this is within Jharkhand only. So 6 and 6%. Guys, just make up your mind. Don't do the calculation. Just make up your mind and move ahead. Next, you purchased a bus from a registered dealer in Tata Nagar, Jharkhand. Bus is used to ferry 25 workers. Guys, bus, is it blocked? No, because it's GST, please. It's more than 13 passengers. And will you get the credit? Yes. Guys, you bought it from Jharkhand only. So bus is 14, 14, 28%. So this 14, 14 and 28%. This is from Jharkhand. So C and S GST. So bus is done. Raw material is done. Washing machine, mixer grinder is done. Now let's check, guys, why have they given you composition supplies? They have just given to confuse you. Composition supply of 1, 5 and 1%. Opening balances of ITC as on the 1st of September, starting of the month, is 20,000, 5,000 and 95,000. All the above mentioned figures are exclusive of taxes. If they were inclusive of taxes, you would remove tax. Both inward and outward supplies within the state of Jharkhand are to be considered intrastate, and outside the state of Jharkhand are to be considered interstate. We already know that. Subject to the information given above, all other conditions necessary for availing ITC have been fulfilled. Let's start writing calculation, the amount of net minimum GST payable in cash. So please write the starting, guys. You will always have to tell them what are you calculating. So please write calculation of minimum net GST payable in cash by Xeon Limited for September 2021. You will write one Roman number here. You will write electronic liability register, and in bracket this is for September 21. You will have one column for IGST, one column for CGST, one column for SGST, and one column for particulars. The particulars column should be the largest column, guys. This is a table that you will make. And you will write first intra-state supply of washing machines and mixer grinders. Obviously guys, I am writing short forms. You will write the full form in the exam. So this is intra-state supply. And just checking guys, what is the intra-state supply? 24 lakh into 99%. So here show the calculation guys. 24 lakh into 9%. How much would that be? 2,16,000 CGST and 2,16,000 SGST. Guys, this is the first one. Second, interstate supply, again of the same thing. Interstate is 5 lakh. So this is 5 lakhs into 18% is 90,000 in IGST column. This is interstate supply. Since this is the only supply, this is the only liability, so this total it up. This is 90,000, this is 2,16,000, and this is 2,16,000. This is the liability that you need to pay. I'm lacking space on this page, so I'm going to go to the next page. You can always continue with under this page, guys. Guys, here will you have to pay this liability using credit or cash? Yes. So you will leave at least about 5-7 lines to pay this liability. So I'm going to go to the next page. I'm going to leave the next page till here. Actually, I'm going to leave this entire next page, but of course you will leave 5-7 lines after this. And the second part, you will write electronic credit ledger again for the month of September 21. There is particulars, there is IGST, there is CGST, and there is SGST. Please make columns, particulars being the biggest column, and the first thing that you write, opening balance as on 1st September 21. Let's check the opening balance, guys. Opening is 95, 20 and 5. So this is 95,000, 20,000 and this is 5,000. Add purchases, and let's take the first one. We'll write that as A. What have we purchased? We've purchased raw materials from within Jharkhand for 7 lakh, but we'll consider only 5 lakh. So A, intra state purchase of raw material, you will write working note 1, where we'll explain why we have not taken 2 lakhs. So this is 5 lakhs into 6%, I believe was the rate. Yes. So 5 lakh into 6%, 30,000 CGST, 30,000 SGST. Next, bus purchased, 24 passengers, again intrastate. How much did you purchase the bus for? The bus was purchased for 12 lakhs. $12 lakhs into 14% each is 1,68,000 and 1,68,000. That's all the purchases, guys. So 95,000 here, 1,68,000 here, and 1,68,000. Sorry, my bad. 1,68,000 plus 50 is 2,18,000 here, and 1,68,000 plus 35,000 is 2,03,000 here. All right, guys, now we have to use this money to pay off our bills. So first we will use the IGST, but this is given in a this order. How do we know? There is a section called 49A, 49B and rule 88A. This tells us. So we'll write that in another working note as a general working note, but let's now pay off first IGST. Guys, do we have some balance money in the IGST Paytm? Yes, 95. And do we have any IGST liability? Yes, 90,000. So please write less payment through electronic credit ledger, and please define this as ECL. IGST 90,000. So this is completely paid off. And here you can write less IGST paid 90,000. That leaves you with a balance of 5,000. I'll have to go to the next page for this. Adding a slide here, 1, 2, 3 columns and particular columns. This is IGST, this is C, this is S. There is 5,000 here. All right. Now guys, please let's check who's needy. CGST has 2,18,000 they have to pay. Sorry, 2,18,000 of money, and they have to pay 2,16,000. Are they needy? No, they are not at all needy. And SGST has only 2,03,000 and they have to pay 2,16,000. So are SGST needy? Yes. So you will take the entire 5,000 and you will again adjust it against your 5,000. So this is your payment through IGST, 90,000 here and 5,000 here. You don't need to explain how you got the answer. You just got the answer. You don't need to explain how. So now I'm going to go to the next page and write the balance. Actually, you don't even have to write the balance. So 90 is paid off here, 2,11,000, you like 2,16,000. So then guys, again I'm writing the columns here, 1, 2, 3. This is IGST, this is C and this is S. And this has been paid off. Here payment using CGST and SGST respectively. So how much CGST has to be paid? 2,16,000. Do I have it? Yes. So I'll take 2,16,000 and I'll pay this. So this 2,16,000 out of 2,18,000, 2,16,000 has gone away. So this less paid CGST and SGST respectively. So 2,16,000 paid here. Out of 2,18,000, 2,16,000 is gone. So in my liability, guys, is my liability over? Yes, my liability, this one has been paid off. And what about my SGST liability? 2,16,000 minus 5, 2,11,000. Out of 2,11,000, I have 2,03,000, so I'm going to use 2,03,000. And here my 2,03,000 gets over, so I'm using 2,03,000. Alright, so here what is my balance? Of course my balance IGST is nil because I have exhausted it. This, there is a balance of 2,000. This is nil. This is my credit ledger balance. And what about my payments? This has been paid. Amount payable in cash. This has been paid completely. This has been paid completely. Here, guys, how much do I need to pay? I had a liability of 2,16,000, 5,000 adjusted by IGST. So 2,11,000 out of 2,11,000, 2,03,000 I had. So 2,11,000 minus 2,03,000 gives me 8,000 rupees in cash. So this is the amount payable in cash, 8,000. But I have 2,000 rupees here in CGST. Can I use it to pay SGST, guys? No, they cannot be cross utilized. That's another working note. So these are some working notes that we will have to write once we finish this sum here. So I'm just keeping it here. 8,000 is the amount payable in cash. Once you finish this kind of a sum, you have to give the final answer, guys, because they have asked you for a final answer. So I'm just going to give them the final answer and then write working notes. Therefore, Xeon Limited will have to pay minimum net GST liability of rupees 8,000 SGST in cash. And then we will start with the working note. So this is the final answer. I wished we had more space on one page, because we have less space on one page and my writing is slightly big. We had to spread it, but I hope you're getting the point on how we got to do this. All right, let's go to the working notes, guys. This is working note 1. Please write: no GST can be charged by composition scheme dealer. No GST can be charged by composition scheme dealer under section 10(1) and 10(2) of CGST Act. So this, we are trying to tell him that no GST can be charged, therefore no input tax credit on purchase of 2 lakhs. Next, working note 2. IGST input tax credit has been fully utilized. IGST ITC has been fully utilized before payment of before utilizing SGST and CGST as per sections 49A, 49B and rule 88A. As you can by heart these sections, because every time ITC chapter comes you have to quote these sections. And working note 3, since cross utilization is not allowed, CGST of rupees 2000 cannot be used to pay SGST. Alright, so this was the first question, guys. This is very predictable a question. Every paper, I'm not sure whether you'll get all 8 marks because ICAI has their own marking criteria. But if your answer is right, finally they have to give you the maximum marks if you've written the sections and you presented it well. Guys, this next question is value of supply. Again, very easy question for 6 marks. So the moment I see a question like this, I have to just check the second question and see if you're okay. Examine whether the following activities would amount to supply. So this is from the supply chapter, 4 marks, and this is from value of supply. So I want you to take 2 minutes, 3 minutes here, get the answer for me here. XYZ has provided the following particulars relating to goods sold by it. Straight away go to the final. Determine the value of supply by XYZ Private Limited under GST law. Over to you. I'm just keeping this on the screen here. Give me one answer, guys, which you feel is the right answer. I'll show you how to present, but this is what you have to solve. Over to you, please. Alright, so looking at some questions, some answers here, guys. This is basically sold by XYZ to ABC. List price of the goods is 50,000 exclusive of taxes. So ideally we should start with 50,000. This is under section 15(1). We start with the list price. Tax levied by municipal authority on sale of such goods. This is to be added because tax these items in supply. This is to be added. Next, packing charges not included. Do we have to add it? Yes, 2,500 to be added. Subsidy received from an NGO directly linked to the price included in the list price above. Guys, the subsidy has been included in the list price. That means they've already minused it. So do I need to add this? Yes, I need to add this also. Paid to one of the vendors by ABC Private Limited in relation to the service provided by vendor to XYZ, not include the price above. So do we need to add it? Yes, I need to add it. XYZ Private Limited offers a 2% turnover discount on the list price after reviewing the performance of ABC. The discount was not known at the time of supply. So can I minus this? No, I can't. This is not tick discount because guys, it was given later on. ABC Private Limited delayed the payment and paid 5,000 as interest to XYZ. Guys, this is very nice. Should interest be added? Yes, interest also has to be added. But guys, interest will be added. Interest already includes, just like your green lace packet, it already includes GST. So 5,000 divided by 118 into 100. So you will add 4,237. 4237 will be added. I'm writing it here. 4237 will be added. Determine the value of taxable supply made by XYZ under GST law. Guys, actually this interest is paid later on, but they have not told you which month. They have just told you overall what is the taxable supply. So 50 plus 650,000 plus 6,000 plus 2,500 plus 3,000 plus 2,000 plus 4237. This is 67,737. Guys, that should be your answer. 67,737. Guys, I got a lot of answers, but I didn't get this answer. Please, can you tell me where did you guys go wrong on a simple question like this? Guys, did all of us get 50,000 right? Yes. Did we get 6,000 right? Did we get 2,500 right? Yes. A lot of people would have got confused because included in the list price above, included basically means they've already deducted this subsidy, guys. So you need to add them. Yes. So that's something while deducting GST. Next, paid to one of the vendors. This should have been got right. And this one is basically 4237. All right. I hope this count you all have realized. This is what we will write, guys. I'll show you writing practice. I got correct. Absolutely right, Venkat. Congratulations. Kudos to you all. Anyone who's tried it also, good job, guys. This is what we will write, but only after doing this. So you got to now read this, and please tell me, guys, if this amounts to supply. Over to you all. You'll get about 2-3 minutes to do this before we start writing. Yes, over to you all. All right, let's see, guys, whether this is supply or not. We can quote the sections also. Glory Limited is engaged in manufacturing and selling cosmetic products. Nice. Seva Trust, a charitable organization, approached Glory to provide financial assistance for its charitable activities. Glory donated a sum of 2 lakh with the condition that Seva Trust will place a hoarding at the entrance of the trust premises displaying the picture of products sold by Glory Limited. Guys, is there any consideration here? Yes. Hello? Aja. Thank you. So here, guys, there is consideration, and you will quote section 7(1)(a), which requires in the course of business and consideration, both are there. So this definitely is a supply. Guys, this one is very clear. I'll show you how to write this. And the next one, Mr. Swami of Chennai is working as a manager with a bank. He consulted some Jacobs and Company of London and took its advice for buying a residential house in Mumbai and paid them consultancy fee of 200 UK pounds. Very good, guys. Is this import or service? Is this Bahar se services? So as per 7(1)(b), guys, whether it's for the purpose of business or not, is there consideration? Yes. Will this be supply? Yes, this will be supply. Guys, 4 marks in your pocket. This I will show you how to present and how to write. Guys, let's first see this one. Please write. Determine the value of taxable supply made by XYZ. So let's write as a heading. Please write question number 6A, May 22 paper. Computation of value of supply made by XYZ Limited. Computation of value of supply made by XYZ Limited. Guys, always have 2 columns for value of supply, always have 2 columns. and particulars. So 3 columns overall: particulars, value, value, particulars, amount, amount, sorry, particulars, amount and amount. First column, second column, and the biggest column will be particulars column. Guys, we start with the list price of the goods. So you'll first write 1 list price of goods, and you will write under section 15(1), and you'll refer it to a working note, because guys, you can use this list price only when the buyer and seller are not related and price is the sole consideration. So this I'm writing outside 50,000. Add amounts under section 15(2). Of course, whenever you write section, you have to write of which act, guys? Of CGST Act 2017. In that, A, tax levied by local authority under section 15(2)(a). If you remember, tax these items in supply. How much was the tax amount, guys? The tax was 6,000, so I'm adding 6,000 here. Next, B, packing charges 2,500. So packing charges under section tax these items 15(2)(c), 2,500. Next, C. Then there is a subsidy from an NGO linked also. Please write subsidy received from NGO under section 15(2), tax these items in supply 15(2)(e), 3,000. Anything else to be added? Paid to vendors, amount paid to vendors on behalf of XYZ. This is 15(2)(b). Tax these, the third party amounts. How much is the amount, guys? 2,000. I'm just going to wait for a minute. This is A, B, C, D. Going to the next page again, guys, amount column, particular columns. So A, B, C, D, then E. There's an interest, guys, which is charged. ABC Limited delayed the amount and paid 5,000 as interest. So that is what I will write next. Interest charged by XYZ Limited. You will write 5,000 divide by 118 into 100, which is basically 4237, which is 4237 less. So you'll total up whatever the additions are, guys. 6,000 plus 2,500 plus 3,000 plus 2,000 plus 4237 is 17,737. 17,737 less deductions under section 15(3). A, discount not informed at the time of supply and hence no deduction. Guys, this is the tick discount. The terms have to be told, they have not been told, so hence nothing here. So therefore value of supply under section 15 is 67,737. $67,737. Guys, here working note 1. Transaction value under section 15(1) has been considered since buyer and seller are not related and price is the sole consideration. Guys, have we assumed that? Yes. Please write assumed due to lack of information. And working note 2, it is assumed that interest received includes GST at the rate of 18%. Although that's given, but I'm still writing it so that it's drawn to the attention. Alright, so this is the 6th A question, guys. Now as we move ahead to 6B, I'm just adding a slide here, or I can just write here only. Question number 6B, May 22 paper. Guys, I'm very sure while I'm writing this, there are so many people who will not be writing this. They are looking at the screen nicely. And remember guys, one thing, that whatever you do today will be reflected in the paper. I'm not saying that you will not get great marks, I'm no one to comment on that. But all I can tell you is that watching tax is a very nice thing, like watching a series, guys. Oh, you understand it all, but the moment I remove all of it, suddenly you will be handicapped and you will find that you're struggling with writing answers. So my suggestion is, even if today you're watching it because you're not in the mood probably, but please solve some sums. You don't need to do it for some subjects, guys. Audit, if you write or don't write, doesn't matter. Law, you write, you don't write, doesn't matter. But for practical subjects, including tax, if you don't write, you are against a wall. Please understand that. All right. Guys, looking at 6B question, the first part, 6B, in that, this is 6B(1). You have to be very right about what the numbers you're using. So 6B(1) is what you have to write. Please write. Guys, is this supply? Yes, it is. So starting only you have to write, yes, it is a supply. So please write the first thing word only. The examiner should know, yes, the amount paid by Glory to the trust will be considered as a supply under section 7(1)(a). So yes, it will be considered supply. So the person who's checking does not have to go through your entire question and answer, guys, to understand this. Next line, please write, for any supply under section 7(1)(a, there should be consideration and it should be in the course of business. And it should be in the course of business. Full stop. Since Glory Limited is donating money in exchange of advertising its products, there is a quid pro quo, that is consideration, thus the above will be a supply. And wherever you written the section, guys, always try and highlight them. Of course, you can't use color pens and all, so you can highlight them using a box or underline. But I use underline for the important words, like quid pro quo will be underlined, yes will be underlined, and the sections can be put in a box. And the last final answer, yes, the above will be supply. Obviously, whenever you use sections of CGST Act 2017, donating money in exchange of advertising. Guys, going to the next one, the second part. Guys, in the second part, he's working with a manager and he has imported some services. So Swami of Chennai is here also, yes, such import of service would constitute a supply under section 7(1)(b), of course, of the CGST Act. Please write, as per section 7(1)(b), in case of importation of service for a consideration, the same would be supply whether received for the purpose of business or otherwise. Thus, Swami of Chennai will be liable to pay GST under reverse charge mechanism. You could write more that since he's received for residential house, you could make it more detailed, but I'm just trying to save some time here by putting it directly to the point only that this is importation of services, whether it's for B or not B doesn't matter. It will be supply as long as there is consideration. Guys, this is your 4 marks here. Guys, this is explain the provision under GST law relating to issue of invoices with exact dates on which the invoice needs to be issued by Messrs. Zing Trans. Guys, they want due date of invoice. They don't want time of supply. They want due date of invoice. Everyone watch out. First one. Now again, guys, exam strategy. This is 7th question. Between the 7th question and the 8th question, there is a choice. 6th, 7th, 8th, there is a choice. So 6th, I knew I had to do. 7th, now this first thing looks okay. Just have a look at the others also. One consolidated e-way bill can be generated for multiple invoices. Comment on the validity. Yes, so this is a 3-mark question on consolidated e-way bills. Although you might know, but can you write so much about 3 marks? Do you have so much information? You might not have it. All taxpayers are required to file GSTR1 only at the end of the current tax period. Again, do you have enough material? Maybe not. You know the answer, but do you have so much to write? Maybe not. So check for 8th. Under GST law, taxes on taxable services supplied by central government or state government to a business entity in India payable by a recipient of services. Explain the exceptions of the above statement. Guys, here they are looking for PAT. Generally, it's under RCM, but what is the balance? That is PAT. That is what they want here. Mr. B, a registered supplier of Uttar Pradesh, is doing the trading of taxable goods. He approaches you to understand the manner of utilization of available ITC. State the manner. How do you utilize the ITC? This is again a theoretical question where they're asking you whether 49A, 49B and Rule 88A. This is again theoretical. And or state any first circumstance on which the proper officer can cancel the registration. This is can immediately commence 36 frauds, miss ITC 99. Guys, just remind me this 99, this rule 86A and 86B I need to tell you. But so this is very nice, this one, because you have exact 5-mark question here. And this also, you know, PAT, guys. So this 8th A and 8th B, the second part is very easily doable. 8th B, the first part is slightly tricky. This one is slightly tricky. I'm putting a T here. So now you have to be the best judge, guys. Which one will you want to write? I would still prefer 7-1 because 7 out of 3 marks, I know I will get at least about 2.5. Here also 2.5. Here, these are straight 5 mark questions. 5 mark questions, they cut more marks. So hence it's better to do small questions. So it's your choice, guys. And if you have time, why not both? You can do both. If you have time. Generally you don't get time, but if you are very well versed with laws and if you revised often, you might even get time. So this one, let's try and solve this one. Messrs. Zing Trans of Kolkata engaged on trading of transmitters. On 20th May 2021, has sent 500 units of transmitters for exhibition at Chennai on sale or return basis. Guys, when you send for exhibition, is it a supply? No, because you've not sold it yet. So through a delivery challan, you will send it. But guys, within 6 months, if you don't receive it maximum, then invoice has to be issued. So 20th May, keep this in mind. Out of the said 500 units, 300 units have been sold on 20th July 2021 at the exhibition. So on this date, you should have issued the invoice for the 300 units. Out of the remaining 200 units, 150 units have been brought back to Calcutta. Guys, within 6 months, have you brought back? May. So June, July, August, September, October, November. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Guys, have been brought back to Calcutta only on 25th November, guys. Is this beyond 6 months? Yes, guys, this is beyond 6 months, and the balance 50 units have neither been brought back nor sold. Let's check, guys, for May, June, July, August, September, October, November. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 months get over, guys, on the 20th of November only. So are you late? Yes. So for this 150 and those 50 units on that 6th month, that is the due date for issue of invoice. So explain the provisions relating under GST law relating to issue of invoices with exact dates on which tax invoices need to be issued by Zing Trans. Guys, so you will quote a section which is called section 31, 25 and no, sorry, 31, 1, 4 and 7. As per section 31.7, first you will quote section 31.1, that in case of supply of goods, the invoice needs to be issued as and when they are removed or delivered. However, if the supply is on sale on approval basis, then you will quote section 31.7. The invoices need to be issued as and when the approval is received, or maximum 6 months from the date of removal. In the above case, it is a question, or it is a concept of, or it is a sale on approval basis, and hence for 300 units the invoice has to be issued on the 28th of July when they were sold, that is approval received. And for the balance 150 units as well as 50 units, the invoice has to be issued within 6 months from the date of removal. That means within 6 months from 20th May, that is on 20th November, the invoice should be issued since no approval was received. So this is 7A. I'm just going to talk about 7B also, and then we'll write, guys. One consolidated e-way bill can be generated for multiple invoices. Comment on the validity of the above statement with reference to GST law. Guys, first up, a consolidated e-way bill can only be generated by a transporter of goods. A consolidated e-way bill is generally generated when there are multiple invoices and multiple e-way bills, and hence this is like a trep sheet. It is generated using GST e-way bill 02 form number, and once generated, it does not have any validity of its own. This is what you will write. And can it be generated for multiple invoices? Yes, it can be generated, but first you need to generate for every invoice, you need to generate a normal e-way bill, and then you need to generate consolidated e-way bill. I'll show you how to present this. So is the above statement valid? No, it's actually not valid, because you cannot just generate one bill. You need to generate multiple e-way bills for every invoice, and also multiple e-way bills in one vehicle. You can have one consolidated e-way bill. Alright. And guys, all taxpayers are required to file GSTR1 only at the end of the current tax period. This is not true, because there are two exceptions. The first one is a casual taxable person has to file can file GSTR1 in the same month in which his validity is getting expired, and a person whose registration is getting cancelled, for that person also this is not true. So this is not true for two people. Alright. So pretty theoretical, guys. Let's see which chapter this is from. This is from invoice chapter, and this is from returns chapter. Next, under GST law, taxes on taxable services supplied by the central government or state government to a business entity in India payable by the recipient of services. State the exceptions. The exceptions are, this is very simple and to the point, you cannot go wrong on this. Postal services other than basic mail, saving account, money order and pension. Aircraft and vessel leasing services, and transportation of passengers and goods. These three, guys, when you pat the government, does the government wake up and will they pay under FCM? Yes. So this is what you'll explain. Guys, this one is pretty big an answer, so it's very tricky, because here how do you utilize the available ITC? So the first point is IGST credit has to be utilized first. Not just utilized, it has to be exhausted before CGST and SGST credit can be used. Then CGST and SGST credits can be used as the case may be. There is no particular order of using CGST first before SGST or vice versa. And only thing is, they can be used to pay all the credits except SGST and CGST cannot be cross utilized. But this is a very open question, guys. This one I would honestly not do. I would choose this one because this has very direct answers. What are the 5 circumstances? And they've told you only 5. So you will quote a section called section 29, and in that, guys, does the proper officer have the right to cancel the registration? Yes. What are the 5 reasons, guys? If you've contravened any of the provisions of the GST law, if you are issuing invoices without actually any corresponding supplies, if you've not commenced business for 6 months from the date of registration, if you've not filed returns for 3 periods for regular scheme or 6 periods for composition scheme, or if they feel that your registration has been obtained by some fraud, misrepresentation or suppression of facts. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Guys, most of my students should have got this right, at least between these two, because this is pretty open-ended, but this one I had the shortcut since really long, so this one would have been got right very easily. This one also we had a shortcut for PAT, so this one also most of my students would have got this easily because we already had a shortcut called PAT. This we had already discussed when we were discussing the revision also. This one, honestly, we did not pay too much attention because I did not think consolidated e-waybill is so important, but they showed it up in the exam, so which is kind of surprising. But guys, it's okay. When you walk into the exam room, remember guys, you're only aiming for 85. You know 15 marks will be hard. So this 3 marks can be considered as in that 15 marks. Don't worry guys. So don't be surprised when something different comes, because guys, this is an ICAI CA inter paper. There have to be some things which are difficult. They will not let you have a flourishing career without earning it, guys. You have to earn it, and they will give you things which are difficult. Trust me, this is that last thing that you do before you start your career on a very bright note. So they will make sure it's difficult, but be prepared. 15 marks will be difficult. So let's see. In this paper, how do we analyze this paper? How many marks do you give this paper, guys? This one was a very simple question. You should at least get 5 marks from this, at least. I'm saying even if with bad handwriting etc, you should get 5 marks from this at least. Next guys, value of supply. If this is right, there is no way out of 6 marks you will not get at least 4 or 4.5 marks here. These two also are supplies. If you write them well and your answer is right, you will definitely get 3 marks here as well. Next, in this, out of 4 marks, you should be getting 3 marks here. If you attempt these two, you should be getting 2 marks and 2 marks here. So this should basically be saving your day a lot. And if you give these 5, you should at least get 4 marks. So this paper is very, I would say, a very manageable paper from a GST perspective, guys. Yes, you have to be very wise with your choices. And then of course is the MCQs. I'm going to show up some MCQs now for you to get an idea. But before that guys, I want to explain 2 rules which I cannot miss, because those 2 rules are important. One of them will be there in your exam for sure. Let's predict the question, guys. There are 2 rules. One is rule 86A and one is rule 86B. My prediction, guys, today on the 7th of July, I am predicting, guys, that in your November paper, this rule will be there, rule 86B. It's a very new rule. It is a very important rule. It is there in one of the MTP, RTP, and hence I feel that this will be there in your exam. Let's see what these 2 rules are before we look at any MCQ questions. So guys, everyone, attention here on these 2 rules. I'm okay with you doing 3-4 exemptions on your own, guys. It's not a big deal, honestly, but these rules are very important, cannot be missed. All right. Guys, please tell me, is your Paytm balance your Paytm balance and you should be able to use it whenever you want? Yes. But what if, guys, you've done some fraud and you've got that Paytm money? So can the government tell you or prevent you from using Paytm money? Yes, same way happens in electronic credit ledger also. This is my electronic credit ledger. I have 10 lakh rupees in this credit ledger. Is this my money? Can I use it for paying my FCM tax? Yes. But the government says, listen, I can prevent you or I can avoid you from using this balance. I can avoid you from using this balance of electronic credit ledger. So when can they do this? When can they avoid it? And guys, is this very brutal? Will you be shocked if you can't use your own money? Yes. So for how long can you block me or can you prevent me? Is there a way for what? Is there an exception where I can get out of this? And because this is such a powerful tool in your hand, do you require any approval when you do this? So all this is given in a rule called 86A. Let's quickly see what is 86A. My shortcut is A for avoid. They say if the proper officer feels that this credit balance has been obtained by fraud, misrepresentation, etc., then he can prevent you from using this balance of the electronic credit ledger. Of course, with the approval of the higher authorities, that is ACIT, Additional Commissioner or Joint Commissioner. So does he require approval? Yes, he requires approval. When can he do this, guys? This is very interesting. When can he apply or when can he use rule 86A? Here, watch out. When the supplier themselves is not existent. What is non-existent? Non-existence means you were there earlier, you registered also, but now I'm trying to contact you, I can't contact you when the supplier is non-existent, or when the recipient is non-existent, or when the supply is non-existent, that means supply, it was not there only, there was no supply, or when the invoice is non-existent, or when this tax was not paid to the government, that means the tax was also non-existent. I'm using that as a shortcut. So please tell me, guys, when can rule 86A be used? When the supplier is non-existent, or the recipient is non-existent, or the supply is non-existent, or the invoice is non-existent, or the government has not got the tax. Then you have to remember at least 5, and these 5 circumstances they can use or they can apply rule 86A. For how long can they apply 86A? They can apply rule 86A till they are investigating this fraud, and for maximum 1 year. But guys, what if you can prove it to the officer that this is not a fraud, this is genuine? Then you can approach or you can make an application to the commissioner explaining him the validity of this electronic credit, explaining him the credit balance. So you can make an application to the commissioner explaining the reasons for this credit and requesting the removal within the period of 1 year. So this is rule 86A. It has been there for almost about a year now, more than a year. So this one is slightly older, but this rule is there. Guys, this rule was because a lot of people were doing some frauds in GST, and hence the government had to create this rule. Quick revision on rule 86A. What is the shortcut, guys? A for avoid. Who can use this? The proper officer can use it with the approval of the assistant commissioner or the joint commissioner. Next, how long can they block it? They can block it for a maximum period of 1 year pending the investigation. When can they do this? Then when a lot of people are non-existent, they can do this. And is there an exception? Yes, you can apply to the commissioner explaining the validity of your credit and asking him to remove this prevention within the period of about 1 year. Guys, while this is okay, the next one is absolutely golden, because I have a feeling, very strong one, that this is going to be there in your exam. All right. So what is this rule 86B? My shortcut is beg. B for beg. Here the government is begging us or begging before us. Let's see how or what is happening here. Guys, this is electric bike company, and this month they have made supplies of 60 lakh rupees. Congratulations to them on 60 lakh rupees at 18%. Let's say all of this is IGST, so they have to pay GST of 10 lakh 80. So this is the GST which they have to pay 10 lakh 80. They can pay using the credit balance, and in their credit ledger, electronic credit ledger, they already have a balance of 11 lakh rupees. So please tell me, can I use my 10 lakh 80 from this credit ledger and pay using credit? Yes, I will pay using credit. 10 lakh 80 is what I will pay. Life is good. I will not have to pay any cash because I have so much credit. It's almost like you paying your electricity bill through Paytm. You were doing this when the government says, listen, 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 things have changed now. So if in any month, if your outward supply in any month, if your outward supply in any month is more than 50 lakh rupees, is your outward supply in this month more than 50 lakh? Yes. Then we will come and beg in front of you that listen, whatever your liability is, pay at least 1% through cash ledger. That means of 10 lakh 80, we don't mind you paying the balance, but at least 1%, has to be paid through the cash ledger. So 10,800 at least has to be paid through the cash ledger. Why is the government doing this? Because the government wants cash and not only credit. So if you are a player who's made supplies of more than 50 lakh only in that month, yes, only in that month, the government begs in front of you saying that listen, at least pay 1% through cash. Can I pay 2, 3, 4, 5%? Yes, no problem, but at least 1% you have to pay through the cash ledger. This is the government begging in front of you. So this is the rule, yes, but why is the rule so important? This will be a 5-mark question, I promise you guys, because there are some exceptions in which case this rule does not apply. So what are the exceptions in which case this rule does not apply? The exceptions are like this: tax refunded in cash by the government. This is a shortcut. Yes, this is a shortcut. Tax refunded in cash by the government. Let's see to whom the rule does not apply. This rule does not apply if you are a government body or a government entity or a local authority. That means you yourself are the government only. Then why will you make this rule apply to yourself? So this rule does not apply to government. Next, if you've already been paying cash of 1% since the start of the year, example, this is the month of July. Let's say in April you anyways paid cash of more than 1%. In May also you paid cash of more than 1%. In May, June also you paid. So if anyways you've been paying one month and more than 1% cash, not because this rule, otherwise also you've been paying cash, then we don't want you to again apply this rule because you are anyways paying cash since that month, April, May, June. So this will not apply. But this condition does not work for April because they say that have you been paying cash since the start of the year? In April there is no start of the year. So if you're in the month of April, then this condition will not apply. So if you're in the month of July or August, can you check this? Yes. If in April, May, June, you've anyways been paying cash of more than 1%, then this will not apply. Next, if you've anyways been paying extra cash to us, example, last year, if you have paid last year, if you have paid GST more than required and we had to refund the GST back to you, this is GST refund. Which year? Last year. If we had to give you a GST refund of more than 1 lakh, then probably you are paying us enough money. In fact, you are paying us more. We had to give you a refund. So then this will not apply. And the last one, if you have paid tax in the last 2 years, not last year, but 2 last years, that means last year also and last year, if you paid us income tax, yes, in GST they have touched upon income tax. If in the last 2 years you paid income tax of greater than 1 lakh rupees each year, then you are anyways paying a lot of tax. You don't need to pay tax in cash. I'm very, very excited to see if this question is there in November exam because this is absolutely gold and absolutely new and absolutely important. Guys, let's recap rule 86B. Everyone, B is for beg. This is applicable only in that year, in that month where the supply is more than 50 lakhs. At least 1% has to be paid in cash. You cannot use the entire, you cannot pay the entire amount through credit ledger. What are the exceptions? Tax refunded in cash by the government. This is the exception. These shortcuts are there in the QuickBook as well. This is a part of ITC chapter. Here, the government will not apply this to themselves. If you anyways being paying cash in the start of the year, then this will not apply to you. This condition does not apply in the month of April. If last year you have been given a tax GST refund, we had to give you GST refund, then why will we ask you to pay cash? You anyways paying us extra. And the last 2 years, if the income tax paid by you is more than 2 lakh rupees, then in that case also, no sorry, not 2 lakh, 1 lakh each year, then in that case also you don't have to apply this section. This is rule 86B. Guys, this one and this one are two very important rules. They could very well ask you explain rule 86B, the people who are supposed to apply 86B, as well as the exceptions to 86B, 5 marks, and that could be a difference whether you have to give November 22 as the last attempt or whether you have to again give May 23, guys. At CA Inter, everything is important. Perfect. All right, so that is it. These are two things that there are two things that I wanted to talk about. Now guys, I'm keeping it open. I want to discuss a couple of MCQs, so can we do those right now? Is there anything else that you want me to do? All right, so I'm looking at some MCQs. Now, the best way to deal with MCQs is not to take some other book, guys. ICI themselves have given a lot of MCQs. So here, I'll show you MCQs. 1 minute. Where is that? Just 1 second, guys. Yes, the 5 important chapters. Yes, I'll tell you the 5 important chapters also. Good. Guys, the first important chapter in GST is not even ITC. It is ITC with the payment chapter, because as you see, the first 8 marks are from this chapter only. So ITC with the payment chapter is the first thing that you will do. This one will get you 8 marks every time, guys. So this, out of your 40 marks, this is almost 20% of your portion, guys, comes from here. So this is the first important chapter that you will do, but I treat them as the same chapter. So ITC plus payment chapter. Next, guys, another chapter that is very important is the chapter on charge of GST. Yes, this time was an exception where they did not ask you, but otherwise charge of GST is a very important chapter. Next, value of supply. This is one chapter which has a very practical appeal to it. So this is another question, but for your exam, because they've just asked value of supply, I will remove value of supply and I will put time of supply, because time of supply was not asked. So in November 22, I can very well assure you that time of supply, one question will be there 100%, that they will make some supply and they'll tell you which is the time of supply. Also guys, in this May 22 paper, they have not asked exemption. So exemption is important, and not the small exemption, big exemption like charitable, like education, like healthcare, like this big exemption, that is important. So that is 1, 2, 3 and 4. And last, always guys, the tax invoice chapter, something or the other is always there from the tax invoice chapter. But more than that, this time, because the quarterly return monthly payment scheme, I feel returns chapter is going to be absolutely important. So these are the 5 main chapters which I am predicting for your exam. Time of supply, I am very sure they will ask one 4-mark question. So that is 4 marks here. 8 marks here, that is 12 marks already. Exemption, they will ask a 5-mark question, that's my prediction. So that is 17 marks here, and returns they will ask a 5-mark question. So that is about 21 marks here out of 28. That is my prediction for your exam. Charge of GST, sometimes asked the full question, sometimes asked as part of the question. So this is not as a full-fledged question, but this is my prediction for your exam. All right. Now, this is, I wanted to show you some MCQs. Just let me check where is the MCQ list. Just 1 second, guys. So these are the 5 most important chapters for November 22. That's my prediction, guys, for November 22 paper. I want to put up some MCQs. We have about 45 minutes to go. So I just want to put up some MCQs. Just give me a minute and I'll be back. I'll just PDF the MCQ booklet and we will continue. Perfect. So Aditi and Company, a partnership firm registered under GST, is undertaking various government projects. The firm has let out on hire the following vehicles. So this is Aditi and Company and they are letting out some things. So this is a supply. Let's see if it leads to liability. So Aman, tax में बहुत amendment आते हैं. It's very simple, Aman. For your November 23 paper, the Finance Act is 2022 already release हो गया Finance Act. उसके बाद कुछ change नहीं होता है. And for November paper, GST amendments April तक चलते हैं. तो you can always update on the amendments later on, but you don't have to stop your preparation for that. All right, guys, coming back. A firm has let out on hire the following vehicles: a motor vehicle to carry out more than 15 passengers to a state government electricity department. Very interesting, guys. ये वाला, this is more than 12 passengers, but it's not to a state transport undertaking. So will this be taxable? Yes, this is taxable. Next, an electric motor vehicle to carry more than 12 passengers to local municipal corporation. Guys, this is more than 12. It's an electric vehicle for local authority. This is exempt. Excellent. This is exempt. Why? Because you know local authorities, they like electric vehicles. So this one is exempt. Next, an electric motor vehicle to carry up to 12 passengers. Guys, this one is up to 12. It should be more than 12 first. State transport is good. Electric motor vehicle, doesn't matter whichever motor vehicle, but it should be more. So this is taxable. So 2 are taxable, 1 is exempt. This one could be an MCQ. Guys, MCQs also, there is a strategy. Instead of reading this blindly, you should check the questions. First question kya hai? What is the first question? In respect of vehicles let out, services that are exempt. So this is about that question. Determine the amount of eligible ITC. So we'll have to check purchases. Determine the amount of ITC to be added to the output tax liability. So somewhere you'll have to reverse some things here. And which of the following is correct? Debit note, credit note. So around that also there is an MCQ. So And which of the following statements are correct in respect of supply of goods received by the firm which are taxable under reverse charge? So now I know which to focus on. So the first one, we can already answer this question. Which one is exempt? Only the second one is exempt. So let's answer which of them is exempt. Letting on hire a motor vehicle to state electric department, this is taxable. Letting on hire electric vehicle to local municipal authority, this is exempt. And letting, this is taxable. So only the second one, B, is the right answer. Determine the amount of eligible ITC. So hence guys, MCQs you don't have to prepare separately. If your concepts are strong, your MCs will go right. The firm provided the following additional information for the month of October. Works contract services were availed. So guys, this is Aditi and company. Availed means they have purchased some works contract services for construction of immovable property being plant and machinery, where GST was 1,10,000. So can they take this? Yes, because this is PSP, which is allowed. Plant and machinery is allowed. Next, GST amounting to 70,000 was paid on account of demand of the department due to fraud. As I told you, whenever the government, or if I have not told you, let me tell you now, whenever you pay any GST because of any fraud etc. and the government tells you to pay, then of that you don't get any credit. Good that we're discussing it. So this point is already covered now. It was not covered earlier. And last one, goods valuing 10 lakh, GST on the same is 1 lakh, were received 180 days ago. Invoice also issued on the date of receipt of supply. That means guys, you received some goods 180 days ago, for which the payment has made till date to an extent of 4 lakh only towards value of 40,000 towards tax. Guys, very interesting. Here 180 days ago, did you get some goods? Yes. So 180 days ago, did you take the entire credit? Yes, you would have taken the entire credit. But now guys, this 4 lakh worth of payment has been made. So do you deserve only 40,000? Yes. Remaining 60 will you have to reverse? Yes. So but that right now does not impact my credit balance guys. So right now there is no impact on my credit balance. So right now ITC is only 1,10,000. The firm also made 2 independent outward supplies. As on this, there is no purchase, is no credit. The firm received certain supply of goods from registered person which tax was payable under reverse charge. Okay, so this is the answer guys for the second question. Determine the amount of eligible ITC. The eligible ITC is 1,10,000. Now determine the amount of ITC to be added to the output tax liability. Guys, do you remember you've not paid within 180 days? So there is a rule called Rule 37, but all that you don't have to write. You have to pick up the right answer, which is B, 60,000. Which of the following statements is correct in respect of document to be issued by the firm for understatement and overstatement of invoice value? Let's check understatement and overstatement guys. Everyone watch out. The firm made 2 independent outward supplies in which the value of supply was understated in one case. Agar guys, understated means the QTV is low. Then do you have to increase it? And is that dangerous? Yes. So a debit note for 75,000. So simple guys. And one, is it overstated? So is the QTV high? Do we need to cut it? Yes. So a credit note for 45,000. That's how simple it is guys. 75 and 45. So here we go. 75 debit note, 45 credit note. So answer is 1 and 4 is the correct answer. This is it, 1 and 4. Which of the following statements is correct in respect of supply of goods received by the firm under reverse charge? Guys, you don't have to read the sum also. Will the firm under reverse charge guys? Firm shall issue a payment voucher at the time of making the payment to the supplier. Yes. Firm shall issue invoice for supply of goods. Firm shall issue receipt voucher at the time of making the payment. This is wrong. Firm is not required to issue any document. This is also wrong. Firm shall issue invoice for supply of goods. This is also right. So 1 and 2 both are right. This is the right answer. So guys, typically you don't have to present, but you have to be very sharp and very sure about your concepts to answer MCQs. Alright. Moving ahead guys. Sahil, a resident of Delhi, is having a residential property in Vasant Vihar, Delhi, which has been given on rent to a family for 50 lakhs per annum. Decide whether Sahil is liable to pay GST on such rent. Guys, residential renting, there is no GST, so no service by way of renting of residential property is exempt. Alright, so these kind of MCQs, but I want to give you one more idea, one more case based MCQs we will do. So I'm just putting that up. Alright, guys, here is another case based MCQ. There is a company called Vidula Impex. First question, from the information provided below, choose the most appropriate answer. After the grant of temporary registration, Vidula Impex needs to apply for registration within dash days from the grant of temporary registration if no extension of the period is granted for such temporary registration. So guys, this is one question already. Next, in case of which of the following services the company is liable to take tax under reverse charge? So there will be one question on reverse charge. Which document is required to be issued by the company in respect to the invoice issued on 20th February? As which document? Debit note, credit note, bill of supply, revised tax invoice. The company needs to file its final return, guys. Final return pay question on that. And e-way bill, guys. There are 5 MCQs on this one case study. I'm giving you all some time, like 2-3 minutes, to read this case study, guys. Anyone who's watching it recorded also, please don't get in the habit of getting all the answers directly. So first read it, take 2-3 minutes, and then we will discuss this MCQ. Alright, let's discuss this, guys. Vidula Impex Limited is engaged in supplying sports goods. So this is V, and they are supplying sport goods. The company did not opt for registration under GST. That means, guys, they have not registered. The government is not very happy with that. The proper officer under GST, based on inquiry, finds that the concern is liable for registration and he registers the firm on temporary basis on 15 June 2020. Can the officer do that? Yes guys, the officer has the power to do that. After being granted the registration certificate, the company availed the following services for the purpose of the business. Renting a motor vehicle from Blue Taxi Private Limited. So they basically took some renting of motor vehicle from a company where GST was charged at 12%. Guys, is this under RCM? Car rental can be under RCM, but for that the supplier should not be a company. Here the supplier is a company, so this is under FCM. Appointed Mr. Rajesh as technical director for advisory role in business, and the payment was made based on the contract entered. However, he was not an employee, so this second service is under RCM. The company will have to pay GST. During the course of its business, the company issued an invoice to a customer and erroneously charged higher value 34,000. Such invoice was issued on 20th February 2021. Guys, if the QTV is by mistake high, then do you have to cut it? Yes, so simple guys. So you will have to issue something called a credit note. Excellent. Yes, you'll have to issue a credit note. The credit note can be issued by after the year ends by 20th October or annual return filing date, whichever is earlier. Further, in the month of February, the company also generated an e-way bill for interstate transport of goods. However, immediately on generation of the e-way bill, the buyer cancelled the order before it is dispatched from the factory or delivery. Guys, can you cancel the e-way bill? Yes, within 24 hours, but not after the movement starts. In the month of March 2021, since the company was incurring heavy losses, it applied for cancellation of GST registration on 15 March. The order for cancellation was made on 30th March, effecting cancelling from 15 March. So order on 30th March, effective from 15 March, which is later guys, 30th March. So from that you get 3 months to find your final return. Guys, such a simple MCQ. Of course, it feels simple because we're doing this together. Alone guys, you might struggle, but if your concepts are clear, this will get easier. Guys, we've not discussed this, so we'll discuss this one point. If the officer gives you registration, guys, if you agree to it, you can confirm the registration within 90 days. And if you don't agree to it, then you can appeal also against it. So here, after the grant of temporary registration, Vidyula Impex needs to apply a registration within how many days? Within 90 days. That's the first answer guys, within 90 days. In case of which of the following services the company is liable to pay tax on a reverse charge? Renting of motor vehicles? No. Usually yes, but because the company who is giving the motor vehicle is a company, then RCM does not apply, FCM will apply. Directorship services? Yes, directorship services. Which document is required to be issued by the company? They have to issue a credit note. The company needs to final return by which date guys? Whichever is the later date. What is the later date? 30th March from that month. So April, May and June. So they have to file it by June. So what is the June date? 30th June. Which of the following statement is correct in respect of e-way bill? Once generated, e-way bill cannot be cancelled. E-way bill can be cancelled within 24 hours. So this is the right answer. So if you're worried about how your MCQs will look like guys, this is what your MCQs will look like. Every time you think, oh, where should I practice MCQs? Let me tell you a lot of places where you can practice MCQs. There is an MCQ booklet given by ICI. That booklet has about 67 normal questions and about 17 case studies. So those are a lot of questions, almost about 150 questions there. You take the RTPs of the last 3, 4, 5 years, 5 RTPs, not 5 years, 5 RTPs, and every RTP has MCQ questions. And then you take up MTPs also. MTPs will also, no, MTPs don't have RTP questions. So this should be a good start guys. This should be a good start. Plus the more you revise, the better you get to the MCQs. So these are lots of MCQs actually if you combine these. Alright. Guys, now I'm keeping it open. Is there anything particular that you want me to do, or we could end because GST is done? Exemptions, you can just go through my quick book. There are 2-3 small exemptions that are remaining. You can do those. And any questions guys, this is these are my digits. You can reach out to me for any query that you have. WhatsApp voice notes work the best for any doubts that you might have. That is it. Don't get under the pressure of amendments. For November exam, your amendments are already done and dusted till April, so there are nothing new. Even today, if something is introduced, it's not applicable for your November exam. By the way, for your November exam, the paper has already been set. It's August month, so it's already been set, so you don't have to worry about any amendments now. Perfect, guys. I'm going to see you now in about a few days. That is the 13th. We are starting DT, and just like GST, guys, DT will be in depth. DT I've kept more days because the portion is big. So in the meanwhile, try and try and look on my YouTube channel, guys. I will keep uploading anything that is important and new later on, so you can follow that as well. And just search my name Sourabh Mutha and you will get my YouTube channel as well. And for any other help, guys, reach out. Unacademy is a great platform serving you a very, very good dish on the platter. Use it. The fast track course is really helpful. Everyone's putting a lot of efforts to do this. Yes, so if you are here or not here because it's a Sunday evening, doesn't matter. All the best to you. Aim for the stars, guys. Ace and do well. Any questions? I'm keeping the session open now for questions. Anything under GST Sun is open. We will now look at DT on the 13th till the 19th, and we will finish DT also in the same manner. Perfect. Thank you, guys. All the best. Thank you so much. I'm going to be here